Hi, everybody. I'm Dee Lisa, the Dream Doula for Women, and I help women remember their nighttime dreams to infuse that wisdom in their daytime life. And today we have Lauren. Please introduce yourself.
Hey, Delisa. This is Lauren Lovett. I'm so happy to be here. I am a coach. I'm a somatically centered coach, somatically yours. I coach artists, actors, and executives, specifically female executives, and also executive teams in using their full wisdom, the partnership between the mind, body, and what I like to call the root. So
Oh,
that's
that's
what I
so
do.
beautiful. That's so beautiful. And I have experienced some of your work, and it's mind-blowing. It'll be like, why did you do that? Why did you do that with your face? I'm like, what?
Mm.
What are you talking about? I didn't do anything with my, oh, yeah, that because our bodies reveal what's
Yeah.
underneath.
Our bodies are talking to us all the time. And it's not, I don't really say why. It's been a while since we had a session. I don't go, why are you doing that? Because that would be really hard to handle
Thank
for
you. Thank you
folks.
for the clarity on that.
Can you
She's
imagine?
much
Why are
gentler.
you doing that? Yeah. No,
Why did
it's,
your
why did you, yeah, but I bring you into a noticing
mm,
that people say mindfulness, people say body awareness, and that is the first step of this kind of study and this kind of like data gathering, if you will, for all the executives out there, data gathering. And us, we like to know, we like to be in the know, but it's more about like you being able to tune in to what's here now for you.
mm,
So if I
yeah.
get to notice something that you may not have noticed, like a twitch or something, if I say, oh, well, tell me about, holidays with your mom or something, like you just came back from holiday, where we really focus on here and now. That's
Okay.
what's different about my coaching and like therapy is that,
Right. I do
right?
like to say that therapists look in the past and you talk about your childhood and your family and all that stuff, and
Yeah.
coaches look into the future.
Yeah. And I like to be in the present even
Mm,
more than the future because so much
yeah.
anxiety is about the future. So if we can catch the beginnings of that here and now, then we don't have to fear the future, you know?
Anxiety is all about the future. One of my friends calls it future tripping.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
You're
true.
just imagining a future that you don't want and freaking yourself out about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it's said, I don't know. Everything's up for grabs for me right now. It's for so many of us. Like, it is said that the human mind is sort of tilted toward negativity for survival reasons.
Mm,
Fight, flight, fear, fawn, fall, all those F's are there so we can survive under threat. And also, maybe that isn't our first gear. Maybe there is if we stay in presence and like, oh, what's here now? Oh, I'm starting to. Oh, and I think of, oh, this the little thing. If we can start to catch things as they are happening and kind of open up the channel, not to fix. We're not here to fix. You're not broken, you know. Not here
I
to
love that.
fix.
I love that. Yeah, we're all not broken, even when
Right.
we think we're broken.
Yeah. Now, grief, loss, anger, those things are real, but it's not broken. It's actually working just fine, you know?
Mm, mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, and a lot of people try to get away from those uncomfortable emotions.
Well, yeah. And think about it. Like right now, our society has cultivated the shit out of that. We
Yes.
have more things to do with our anxiety. We have games and playing and scrolling and phones and ordering Amazon and Instacart. There's so much more to do that is actually adding toxicity to the mind and the system that keeps us craving that. I mean, woof. We're at a huge interesting time right now.
We certainly are, and
Mhm.
things seem to be speeding up.
Yeah. Have you read that new book? I'm about to get it by Christine Rosen called The Extinction of Human Experience.
Ooh, no. Ouch to the title.
Well, I heard an interview with her, a long interview. She is a fascinating person. I won't go too much into her background, but it's fascinating. And she's super articulate, and I cannot wait to get this book because it is about how we are more disembodied than ever because of technology.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that now we're coming into a time where the youngest generation, their online and virtual experience will have been the first experience they will have had, instead of having a real life experience and then being like the virtuality or the emulation online. We're now at a point where kids are more acclimated to ordering and doing stuff online, that when they go to an actual store, they're like, oh my gosh, there's things on the shelves here. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because if you look around the world, you can see little tiny, tiny, tiny kids looking at their iPads.
Yeah.
They're babysitting their kids with
Hmm.
technology. And that, if that is their world, yeah, the store
That's
has
the
shelves.
that's the prevailing experience instead of in real life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And you could make a case, right? When we were little, if we had TVs, if your house had a TV, parents would sit you in front of the TV. But what's different is the TV is not gaining information from you personally all the time to bring
Hmm.
you in. It's not like, I mean, I'm sure it will be, but when we were kids, it wasn't like, Delisa, hey, would you like to come into the cartoon world and interact with these cartoons? And Delisa, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
more passive, it
yeah.
was more objective, the programming, and it wasn't talking to us individually like these algorithms do now, and AI.
Well, I know many people try to get away from technology. They take technology breaks. One
Yeah,
of the things I really love is the digital detox cafes that
I
are
do that.
popping up all around the
Yeah.
world.
Yes.
And to take a digital detox, even for a few hours, is very anxiety provoking for some people. It's like,
At first.
give me your
Yeah.
phone, I'll give it to you when you leave.
Hmm.
Oh, wait, no.
Oh, I know. I have run a few retreats with your friend and mine, Jackie Ivy.
Yeah.
And the retreats, the first, you get there on a Thursday afternoon, but that Friday is noble silence all day, and no devices at all. You can't call anybody. There's nothing to, we don't use any of that. And yes, initially, I mean, it's a detox, right? So
Yeah.
initially, it
It's
heightens
like,
the anxiety. Yeah. Something
yeah.
is going out of your system. But
Mm,
then afterwards, the feedback we get is like, wow, the day is so long and beautiful. I had so much time to myself. I could hear my voice again from inside, even from one day. So,
that's
yes,
so beautiful.
be
Yeah.
prepared to detox, but then reap the benefits.
Yeah, because detox never a beautiful experience until you're done with it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
When
And
you're
it
on the
takes a
other
lot of
side.
courage to do that.
Yeah.
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 I see her in the
Yeah.
background.
She's watching another thing on her computer. I love it.
Uh-huh.
We're in our
Yeah.
own worlds, on our
Mm-hmm.
own screens, just like we just talked about.
That's right. That's right. But at
It's the
least
modern world.
you, I know that you guys join in community, you do things together, you make art together, you cook
Yeah.
together. So at least there's that part too.
Yeah,
Mm.
we do interact in real life
Yes, I
and with
heard.
other people in this beautiful world of Zoom, etc. Well,
Yeah.
before we started recording, you
Hmm.
suggested that perhaps I bring something to you that you could do your magic with me.
Grist for the mill. Yeah, I was
And
asking if there was
yeah,
something bugging you, or again, we're not going to go deep in like some deep political stuff
well,
right
yeah,
now.
I won't go politics on you, but I'll go
Yeah.
art. I'll go to the art world.
Okay.
I'm also an artist besides being
Yes.
a coach for women, and I am currently frustrated that nobody wants to buy my art.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I keep making it, and it's for sale. And it's like, oh,
Yeah, let's stop there. Let's pull over and park. So there were some things that happened. You felt that, right?
yeah,
Making it and
it's
making
for
it.
sale. I'm throwing it out there.
I'm
Throwing
throwing
it
it
out
out.
there. Yeah.
Yeah. Can we just focus on that interesting movement your body did?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm making it. I'm throwing it out there. It's on. So one of the things we do, and I'm borrowing from SE, which is somatic experiencing, which is a trauma-based practice, but I like to bring it in like SE light for coaching. Because again, not trying to really go back into the deep past, though we touch the past, we visit
Mm,
you there.
mm.
But it's really about here and now, what the body is doing, current state. So can you do that again? Just like, yeah, what you were doing. I'm making it. Go ahead and do
I'm
it real
making it.
time.
I'm
Making
making
it,
it. I'm
making it.
making it.
I'm
I'm showing
throwing it
it.
away.
It's like,
Right.
thanks,
Yeah.
thanks. It is like I'm throwing it into the world and no one's catching it.
And no one's catching it.
Yeah.
So can we slow that down and have you do that and see if there's tuning into the body is about sensation mostly. And that, yeah, this slowing down a little bit more and kind of reenacting in slow motion what you were just trying to say and demonstrate.
Yes, I keep making art.
Yeah, and put the mind on, because your mind is quite clever. So put the mind on slow. Yeah,
I keep making paintings.
yeah, even slower, and just the motion and going inside and noticing any sensation. Where do you feel anything that might be buzzing or
I feel that in my stomach,
okay,
like
tell
a
me more.
like a knot in my stomach.
Like a knot, yeah. And the knot is in the stomach right under the rib cage?
Yeah, like right below the belly button,
Aha,
kind of lower.
below the belly button. Okay, lower.
Yeah, like second chakra.
Uh-huh. Okay, sacral, yeah. So there's a, you said there when you did this slow, you noticed a tension? Is that what it was? What is it really? I mean, give me a little bit more of the texture.
I would say it's like a fist-shaped blob of
Hmm.
resistance there.
Well, let's not qualify it for a
Okay,
second.
a fist-shaped
Hmm.
blob
Fish-shaped
of
blob.
something.
Is that more frontally oriented in the back? Do you feel like it's being put there or it's coming up from somewhere? What, give me a little more feeling through that fist.
It feels like it's in the front of the body more than the back,
Hmm.
and it feels like it's just there. Like
It's
I
just,
would say, I'm of a certain age, I don't menstruate anymore. I
hmm.
would say it'd be like the menstrual cramp is going to start soon.
Ah, so that feels to your system familiar in
Yeah,
that that was like when menses was coming on and there might
it
be
was like,
cramps.
oh, yeah, yeah.
Mm. Hmm. And we hold off on meaning. We will make some meaning, but the
Okay.
key to this somatic practice, which we're kind of just skidding into a little bit, is slowing down, opening up to what the body's language is. And
Mm,
that was at first the behavior, right? At
yeah.
first it was like, I'm putting it out there and no one is buying. I'm putting it out. I'm frustrated. Yeah, my art. Then we slowed it down. And then you noticed that there was like a lump or a heaviness or a fist in the frontal, lower abdomens, maybe sacral, which now feels familiar in its sort of feminine menses.
Mm, mm.
Yeah. So, yeah, anything before we tie anything to this, just as it is, as you do it again, with the idea of I'm putting it out there, I'm throwing it. Yeah.
I might also feel a little bit of what I would call a headache.
Ah, where's that headache? What part? What
Mm,
part of the head?
top of the crown of my head.
Mm-hmm. And is there temperature to that? Is it a pulsing? What's the quality of that?
Yeah, it feels a little hot, but it's not pulsing.
It feels a little hot. Yeah, and it's there. And is it just kind of like the pain. It's a headache. The ache of it is just kind of bloomed there. Tell me a little bit more about how you noticed that, how that came into your view.
Mm. Well, I scanned the body and
Mm-hmm.
thought, where else do I feel anything?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it was there. More now it feels more like a shimmery, a shimmery, energetic,
Aha. Okay.
like bubbles.
So at first it was maybe an ache, but now it's sort of
Now,
shifting and kind of
yeah, more it's like
bubbly.
bubbles. Bubbles are shimmery
Yeah,
energy.
and by your expression, it maybe have gone from a little bit of an unpleasant to maybe more of a pleasant or neutral.
Yeah, I can imagine it's like a shower of brilliant art pieces coming through me at the head level
Aha, coming
that
through
I'm
you
putting out there.
that you're putting out there. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then let's check
yeah.
back in with the lower one, the fist. How's the fist
Mm-hmm.
doing here? Because we can hold both the shimmery and the crown of the head and then coming, visiting, sitting with the
Yeah, and
lower.
that other sensation is diminished quite a lot. I don't really feel it in the abdomen.
Interesting.
Mm,
So
fascinating.
maybe, so again, it's not therapy, it's coaching so that we're here now. And we acknowledge that they're echoes from the
Mm,
past.
mm-hmm.
You recalling menses, the body having this sort of sinking, fisty, heavy feeling that is like, oh, that's kind of like when I was getting my period. Maybe, I could anticipate some cramps, some discomfort. So there may be something about your menses, the time in your life that maybe that had, did you ever have a time that that was like pretty painful? That was really present with you, the cycle, the menses, that was like, oh God, this is almost too
Yeah,
much.
yeah, I did have a time where it was obvious,
Yeah,
obvious and painful.
okay.
Yeah.
Obvious and painful. So maybe and again, we don't necessarily need to discuss, but if you are recalling it, your body is also making that connection and you
Mm-hmm.
confirming that with the
Yeah.
physical
Yeah.
move of, yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and you sink your attention there, honoring this echo. Maybe that feeling of like, I put it out there and no one's buying is a little echo from an older energy in you, from a more historic, from that time of your life that we're still
Mm,
carrying. And
mm.
perhaps, and again, maybe not, right? They were just skidding into this just to demonstrate how it works, not like result oriented. But if, as you allowed this to come a little bit more to fruition, and we sat here with it, which normally in a session we would take much longer, this shimmery, sort of pleasant, like, oh, I imagine all the art coming through me, is a little bit more where you are in truth now, and that this part is really an echo from
Mm.
before. It's a familiarity of like, I do and do, I offer, and no one takes it, and so maybe there's a something that is weighing you down back into that space that you really aren't.
That's a profound comment that I think many people who might listen to this can relate to.
Hmm.
Don't
Does
you
it
think?
resonate with you? Does
The
that
oh
feel a
yeah,
little true?
absolutely. Yeah. So the echoes of what has happened or how I thought about it in the past, I see how that can just stay with you mentally. And
Yeah,
now I can see how it can stay with you
in the
somatically.
body. Even more. Even,
Yeah.
I mean, equally or arguably more because the body and the body's responses are hooked more into the unconscious, right?
Mm,
How do we know that? Because do you direct yourself to breathe and process nutrients and digest and circulate your blood? No, you don't. It's going on and it's hooked into the brain, it's hooked
right.
into the nervous system, but it proceeds without your direct command or you trying to control it. So we know, and also dreams, you're the dream doula. We know that the body and trauma are trauma can be contained in the bodies that we've forgotten about. And then here's the dream trying to work things out. And that's
Yeah.
the subconscious and unconscious too.
Yeah. It's fascinating,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
To look to the side of things that people, or not everyone, is paying attention to.
Yeah.
Like in your sense, people are not paying attention to their body sensations as much as they could be
Well, it's
until
culture,
it's
right?
a pain or a problem, right?
Yeah. Crisis.
Like
Yeah.
the quintessential, my eye started to twitch. What's that mean? I mean, people probably
Mm.
ask you that all the time. It's like, oh,
People
I
want
get
to
to,
make meaning, yeah, right away. And
they're
the
like,
thing
oh,
is, yeah,
yeah,
oh, this thing is bad. It's so bad. Oh, what is that? What does it mean? And it's like, well, right now it means that your eye is twitching. That is what is happening, right? That's what's happening. So
yeah,
if we can pull over and park and slow down, because culture does not honor this, especially now.
yeah,
Honestly, there is too much right now. Too much to do, too much stimulus, too much food as far as the privileged, right?
yeah,
There is so much to divert you, and it's a go 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 situation where you feel like you meet yourself coming and going. There's just not enough hours in the day, and then we feel like we're not enough because we didn't get all the things done. It's absolute constructed insanity. So by slowing down, I'm already counterculture. I'm already asking you to
mm,
come with me and say, hey, yeah, oh my God, you and I could work 24/7 on projects and things and houses and bills and stuff and just never get it all done. That's by design. That is our construction. That is late stage capitalism. And I'm not
yes,
saying that it's all bad. But I'm saying that we're going counterculture by saying, okay, let's slow down our rate of speech, first of all. Let's tune into each other. We're here together. And now I ask you to tune into the subtle sensations of the body, because that is exactly what we are not conditioned to do.
yeah. Most people ignore their bodies
Yeah. Or
so
just,
much so that
yeah.
they overeat or overdrink or underexercise or all the things, and then they're like, I wonder why I can't walk that far anymore.
Right. I mean, we've been also, it's like a meat suit. It's like, does it look good? Is this looking good? It's like,
Yeah,
well, if you, surprisingly, if you do take time to slow down and give this body and the partnership between the mind, body, and the intuition, the root, some time, some attention, just like a baby, then actually you are processing. You are actually, things are blooming within you. Even grief coming to the surface is processing something.
mm, yeah,
And if you think of the energy it takes to suppress, talk about making your system unhealthy. Like we're not supposed to express rage, especially women, but most people, you're not supposed to. Because we've seen examples of that in a shitstorm where it's like, rah.
yes,
But there
yes.
is rage and it can be expressed in a healthy way. And oh, now you feel lighter. Now your skin is brighter. Now your vision is clear. Also, it helps to eat well, yes. But getting rest and also being able to express in a healthy way the emotions that come up rather than denying or suppressing is actually less taxing to the system.
Mm, wow. So this is the work you do with people.
Yeah, it's so
Some of
fun.
it. I know you're multi-talented. I know you. Before this, you did some other interesting jobs. Do you want to share any of those before we pop off?
Uh, well, yeah, I mean, Jackie Ivy will tell you because we went to school together that I was an actor. I always will be. That's the
Mhm.
way I see the world is through stories and acting. And My favorite part is getting into the skin and the pulse of another life, another person,
Mm.
and that the reason why I ended up, I think, doing somatic work, because I'm a terrible dancer. I've run marathons, but I'm not really built for it. I can't run fast. Like, it's not that I was this big Olympic athlete, and of course, it's a natural thing for me to want to do body stuff. It's that when I approached in a very instinctive way as a young person a character, I would do it through like, oh, well, if they have to carry this, and oh, if they're a maid, then okay, well, oh, if they're writing on a, what does that do to the body and the way the voice is? And oh, I'm playing an older person. Well, what happens to the vocal folds when, oh, if somebody, and especially if you have a little bit of spine curvature, it was always
Mm.
with the body and the
Mm.
mind both. It wasn't just a study and like, let me just think about this and then I'll magically do it. It's like the experiential, the character, the life, the blood. So that's been a thread through all the things, you know?
That's so cool. That's so
Yeah.
cool.
And I still coach people for that kind of acting and coaching. I
Hmm.
coach shows for Dialect, but when they get me for Dialect, I can't help myself. It's not just like sound changes.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because some people do that. It's just like, oh, we're doing Dublin. Well, that means that things are like that, whatever. And you
Right.
change, KO and all that. Sure, that's part of it. And I can make you a million charts. But, well, okay, it's 1939. This show I'm doing right now, it's 1939 in Philadelphia. This guy just came over from Ireland. He's been a mercenary, like, okay, so he knows how to handle a gun. Okay, he's in his 30s. What's that body like? Okay, it's 1939, so he sounds a particular way because it's a full body expression
Yes.
that is also evident in the way that we speak. Do you know?
Also, I think I was thinking while you're talking that when people do certain different accents, their
Mm-hmm.
face looks different. Like they
Yes.
hold their face in a different way, and that's why the words come out that way,
Right.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, because when our language develops, our mother tongue, quite literally,
Mm.
that is what your face shapes to. And that happens in a particular part of the brain, the first language you learn. Unless you are truly bilingual and losing, like a friend of mine's kid who is of an American mother and a Spanish father, and they live in Spain. But the mother spoke English to him from the beginning, and the father, who does not really speak great English, only spoke Spanish. So he did get both, and they didn't have any other caretakers. So they were doing that at the same time
Hmm.
with the same amount, give or take. I mean, hers was probably more, right? As far as words per day. But so he really is truly bilingual. But most of the time, there's one language first that the brain and the instrument cleaves to. And that's in
Yes.
one part of the brain. And then when you learn another, even when you're young, it activates in a different part of the brain. So we have English shaped mouths and heads to that has been shaped by the language and has made it easy for us,
Fascinating.
right?
Yeah.
Whereas any other language, like a Russian that's been shaped around the Russian language, it's very hard for them to accurately sound like they're American because it's so different, you know. So anyway, you get, it's just
I do.
it's a
It's
different
so
shape.
fascinating. Uh, and now and now we're all just leaning over. The body leans over to do this all day
Yeah.
long. How that must be something that you are coaching people on as well. It's like, do you
Hmm.
want to have that head all hunched over your chest or what?
Yeah, that's for everybody, artists and executives.
Yeah.
But also, what's really interesting to me, this guy was pitching me something yesterday. And so my setup is a laptop with the camera right there. So I can look
Yeah.
at you and I can look at the camera and you're right there under the camera. So it is copacetic. It's harmonious. You see me
Yeah.
looking what he and a lot of people actually have all these different monitors. So maybe my camera on me is here, but you are appearing to me here. This happened yesterday. And the guy was like, "Yeah, Lauren, so anyway, I just really want, you know." And I was like, dude.
Dude, you're not looking at me.
He's
You
like,
think
"Well,
you're
I
looking at
actually am because you're there." I was like, "Well, you need to marry that because it's alienating
Yeah.
for you to think that you're actually that I'm seeing your eyes, your expression because I'm not. I'm seeing the side of your face." You know? So we've been so and this was a guy in his 30s,
Mm.
you
Oh,
know?
but he had all his screens up and he's how
But
did
he
he
didn't
not
even
know?
realize that that
Oh,
would be disorienting to the people he was talking to.
interesting.
Mhm. Yeah,
Mm.
so there's a whole nexus of things to look at when you coach folks for online, which is most of what we do, and also public speaking too. Because if you've been doing this for years, then if you're on a panel and you're doing this, first of all, it's really tough to project, even if you're mic'd, because the instrument
I
is not available.
I found myself doing that motion the other day. I was like, "Stop, what are you
You're a
doing?
little
Pull that head
turtle.
back." I
Yeah.
was, yeah, in person talking to someone with this like very flexible neck. I'm like, what?
Well,
What
and
is
what can
going on here?
help, what I do with clients of all walks is start them off with a little, see, I'm a borrower, so Alexander technique, which is an alignment technique.
Oh, I love the Alexander techniques, all of
Isn't it
them.
great?
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So we start there just so that they understand what is connected and the imagery and the directions that can help you at least begin to find your natural alignment so that you don't find yourself like this.
Mm, yeah,
You know? Yeah,
yeah, beautiful. Well,
good.
tell the listeners how they can find you and tell us just briefly about the book you're working on, because that'll come out soon, yes?
Oh, it's not coming out for a while. I thought I could do it more quickly. I think I was a little brazen about the whole thing because I was like, well, I've been taking notes for 10 years. I just need somebody to help me put it into a format. But
Yes.
as it turns out, as you said, the world keeps spinning and it's at top speed. And what the good news about that is that there's so many more folks of color and women that are published and being like as of last year and the last few years with such important books like the one I was talking about earlier,
Yeah.
The Extinction of the Human Experience, that I want to quote from folks we don't normally hear from. You know, I mean,
Mm,
folks know Body Keeps the Score, folks know Waking the Tiger, all this sort of stuff by
yeah.
and Jung and everything. And that's great. Like we get it. I've read all those books several times. I agree with a lot of it and I get my teachings from a lot of that. But there are so many wonderful books by women and folks of color and disabled that I don't want to miss something amazing to put into mine to reference them. So
Yeah.
my
So you're
book is
that's where you're stuck right now is finding all the references.
yes,
And they keep
yes.
coming up.
I know. Like every day. There's just I mean I can't, I'm at the library more than I ever have been and just listening to people speak about their book on podcasts and then I get the book.
Mm,
So my book is about radical knowing, which
okay.
is what we already have. Already have radical knowing, and that is the partnership and conversation between the psyche, the soma, and what I like to call the root. And that radical knowing is what we need right now, especially in the face of this wave of chaos we're in. We're always
Yes.
in some chaos because actually that is nature. Nature is cyclical and random and spiraling. It is not linear. It is not A to B to C. That's a more masculine, more hard, uh, seemingly controlled. I don't even like that word much, control, like breath control. Oh, tell me about breath control. Well, how about breath allowing? How about breath using? How about breath acknowledging? And, well, there's so many other things I like to bring into people's awareness about breath. But yeah, radical knowing, um, choice making in the face of chaos is sort of the working title now. So it's not going
Mm,
to be out anytime soon, even though I thought I would be done with a rough draft in a few months. Haha. So, but I write every day and I read every day and I listen every day because I want to make sure that at least the iteration that's eventually published is worthy of the teachings that I'm getting this from, including my
Nice.
own like intuition and downloads and things like that,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to read it whenever it comes out.
Well, I'll let you I'll let you know. But meanwhile, I'm on Substack. My website is where you can find information, and that's just laurenlovett.com.
And we'll put all this in the show notes. So thank you, Lauren, for being here today. Oh, I forgot to ask you.
Oh, tell me.
Is there a dream you'd like to share
Oh my
before we pop
gosh.
off?
It's funny. I was thinking of it because I listened to that This Young in Life podcast, and
Mm-hmm.
they at the end they do a dream every time, and they're right now focusing on different types of dreams, like dreams with animals or dreams with and my dreams tend to be um me wandering around in a house or a structure.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a recurring thing, not the same structure, but it's like, oh, I'm in, like, I remember when I had last year was like, I'm in this big rentable space, sort of house, but also conference space or something. And there was an event there, and me and my husband were there, and the person that owned the space or caretaking the space was sort of like giving us the secret, like, oh yeah, this event's going to clear out and soon this is going to be yours for a while, and we know that sort of thing. So it's like this like secret, like I'm in this audience and I seem just like a regular participant, but soon we're going to have the fullness of this house to our disposal or to our use, because we had a deal with the lady running it or something, and it was
I
kind of like
love that dream.
that.
N- so it's like, yeah, this is mine. This is mine. Many people have dreams
Mm.
where they're in a building
Mhm.
and it's a recurring dream
Yeah,
and they're lost. They can't find their
yeah.
way in or they can't find their way out. And so your dream is so much more exciting to listen to because you know something amazing is going to happen
Yeah, and it was
inside
not
the dream.
right. It was a new, like, we were like, wait, did we rent the first part of it? There was confusion, like, oh, it's dark, but oh, is there's a stairway? And then we ended up in this like well lit event thing, and I was like, oh, okay, right. But we still get this house, right? This is still gonna be, we have a rent.
Yeah.
And she was
Yeah.
like, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Oh,
So I
that's
just
so
told you
cool.
the satisfying end
I
of
love it. And
choosing
so we'll
everything.
pop off in a minute, but for anyone listening who has the dream where they're lost in the building and they
Yeah.
keep dreaming it over and over again, open up a doorway and go inside. Like there's always
Mm-hmm.
doors when you're going down that hallway, and you might find something exciting like that inside
Yeah,
that room.
something great.
All right.
Nice.
Thank you for being here. It was so lovely to chat with you, Lauren. I just love you so much. Thanks for being here.
I love you too. Thank you. I'm honored. Really fun.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.